Hey, y'all doing? This is Preacher Man RB, and this is another Arrow Reviews Thursday. And this week is Season 2, Episode 9, and it's the mid-season finale for Episode 2. For Season 2. And what happens on this week's episode, when the flashbacks, Oliver has to choose between Shadow and Sarah, who Ivo kills, and he got a gun to both their heads. And Ivo tells him if he doesn't choose, both of them will die. So Ivo's about to shoot both of them, and Oliver jumps in front of Sarah, and Ivo winds up killing Shadow instead. And while this whole time, Slade is still unconscious from the Mercure who's been injected in him. And at the very end of the flashback scenes, Slade Wilson wakes up and is completely powered up. And he goes to fight Ivo's man and completely destroys him with his bare hands. And then he sees Shadow dead, and Oliver's about to tell him that he chose Sarah instead of Shadow, and Sarah stops him, and Sarah says that Ivo killed Shadow, and she don't know why. It's all that happened in the flashbacks was happening in present day. Oliver and them still trying to track down Solomon Grundy, and they track him down to his apartment, and they get Detective Lance and his squad to go after him, and Detective Lance gets his old partner, who is his captain now, to approve of this, and they go looking for Solomon Grundy, and he kills Detective Lance's old partner and half of the police force that was with them, and Detective Lance barely made it out of there alive, and he was able to give Oliver, as the Arrow, a key that Solomon Grundy had on him, and Oliver tracked us back to where Brother Blood is, and finds Brother Blood, and Brother Blood gets Solomon Grundy to fight Oliver. This whole time, Oliver's been having hallucinations, because Barry had to use rat poison to counter the reacts of what Oliver was injected with. So Barry thinks this is why he's having hallucinations, and we find out that this is the reason that's all in Oliver's head. So Oliver has hallucinations of Shadow, Slade, and Tommy. And we find out through these hallucinations that Slade and Oliver had turning out on the island, but it ain't showed us this yet. And Oliver has a hallucination with Tommy. Tommy tells him to fight, that he's a hero. So Oliver fights Solomon Grundy and beats him and destroys the centrifuge. And Brother Blood, at the end of the episode, goes to his employer and tells him that the centrifuge has been destroyed, and this is Slade Wilson, and he has an eye patch on, and he tells him he'll give him a sample of his blood to reproduce a mass army of Mercure soldiers. And what else is happening is Roy got injected with Mercure, and now Roy has mature powers because he came back to life. And we'll talk more about that on next week's episode of Season 2, Episode 10. And my question for y'all, and what else happened? Barry goes back to Central City and gets struck by lightning after the power accelerator blows up. And if y'all want to find out what happens with that, go look for my Flash reviews. And I doubt I'll miss out of order, so you have to find the Season 1, Episode 1 to find out what happened for Barry after what just happened. And my question for y'all is, what y'all think is going to happen now that we know that Slade's the big bad of this season? As always, Preacher Man RB signing out. That's usually see y'all next time.